Okay, remember on the back of your paper, put your first and last name, your room number, and your grade level, and then you can flip it to the front. You can draw this vertically or horizontally, it's totally up to you. It might depend on your layout of your sweets, of your treats that you're gonna draw. So I am going to do one large cake. That's what I decided to do. So I'm gonna use those resource pictures to help me get everything that will look like it's in perspective, meaning it looks like it's having the correct lines, that looks like it's three-dimensional and not just a flat piece. So I'm using some of those images to help me get these into place. So you'll draw everything in pencil, and then you will do Sharpie after you check the work. So I'm gonna do a slice out of my cake. And if you're doing something like this, so this line here is gonna be parallel to this bottom line. So a math word of parallel. These two lines are in the same angle, but they'll never touch. Same thing with this line and then this line. So you can always use a ruler if you need it, but you don't have to. And we don't need it super perfect, but it depends on what you want it to look like. So now it's starting to look like there is a slice out of this particular cake. I'm gonna have it as if it's got a filling. So again, all of these lines are parallel with each other. So I'm just eyeing it. If it doesn't look right, then go ahead. You're welcome to use a ruler if you feel like it's just not looking correct. So I'm darkening up my lines now so that once I have everything in place, I can darken things. I won't need this anymore. So you can see you want to draw lightly until you get those lines where you want them, and then I'm cleaning up my paper as I go. And then I am going to put a plate, which I probably should have done that first. So the plate is kind of like the top of the cake as well, which is what's called more of an ellipse. It's not necessarily an oval or a circle. I went ahead and drew through the cake, but I did it lightly so that I can now erase once it looks like I'm getting it in the right shape. So it helps to draw through things to get things looking correct. And then you also want to do some kind of line behind your treats. And I'm going to pretend it's going through the center and then through the other side. So this could be my table and my wall. So you can add any details that you would like. Just a reminder that things that are in the front are going to be larger. So if I'm putting these little cherry things on here, as they go to the back, they are just going to get slightly smaller. I don't need to make it a huge difference. I actually may want those kind of overlapping that line, so I might move those up a little bit. That'll give it some depth. So you want to finalize your whole drawing and then check with me, and then we will do our Sharpie next. So I'm going to get something to put under my paper, and then I'm going to start tracing my lines once I know exactly where I want them to go. And the next step after this will be erasing to clean up our paper before we start the color. So next you're just going to erase all that extra pencil to clean up your paper before we start oil pastel on your treat. And we will use those techniques in our practice sheet so that we can blend and make it look nice and creamy like a painting or icing. So here's the beginning of a cupcake if you choose to do cupcakes. And again, I'm just using some of the resource pictures. And again, I'm drawing through things, and then you can erase once you have things in place so they don't look see-through anymore. And you erase what should be hidden. And then it should start looking more like what you want for a cupcake. And then you can add your details, and then we're gonna Sharpie. So here on this one, I'm gonna do 3 cupcakes across. I already drew the table line. I drew the ellipses and the cupcake wrappers. And then I'm gonna start working on the edges of what I'd like that first section to look like, and I'll do those and I'll come back. So the next step would be add details and then Sharpie. Now this one is ready to be erased and then oil pastel on the treats.